Uh, Now, you mentioned Dorothy, and so I'm gonna play off of that a little bit. Now, in the whole story of Dorothy, she always had what she needed to get home
Mm.
with her. Okay, and that's kind of the message that you brought up towards the end of the book, is that this is all born out of self-love. This is already in you. And while you said the bigger you were on the outside, the smaller you felt on the inside, the converse became true as you and I'm going to say, as you got bigger on the inside, you got smaller on the outside. Because as I read the story, that's kind of how I interpreted it.
Mm.
You started getting bigger on the inside through self-love, and your health and your weight took care of themselves.
I love that. And I think there's some truth to that, although I didn't feel that way during the process, if that makes sense. And there's this sort of this push out there. Oh, you just have to love yourself. You just have to love yourself. Well, my experience when I was so overweight, I didn't feel that I loved myself because I was at such dis-ease with my body. It didn't feel good, Alan. I mean, I was painful. I I was compulsively eating. I was saying no to things because of this vehicle, didn't allow me spiritually to like get out and do what I wanted to do. And that didn't feel very loving. But what I realize is that even by just choosing patience, that's a huge loving gesture. And wouldn't we do that with someone that we loved around us? Of course. If your child comes to you and they're really upset, the first thing you have to do is be patient and listen to them and hear them out, try to help them arrive to their own solution, right? Be a sounding board. Yet the old Amy was overly critical, and I wasn't patient with myself. So I think the biggest step in being, in starting the whole idea of self-love, to your point, is that moment where I decided I'm going to do it differently now. Let me just start by being patient. And I think you're right. That was the creation of the whole thing. I have to say, I didn't say, let me love myself. I love myself and look myself in the mirror and say, I love you, Amy. None of that was happening. None of that. But what was happening was I was exerting a sort of kindness to myself that I had never done in the past. And I didn't, intellectualize it as I'm being extremely kind with myself. I intellectualized it as I'm going to make the life I want. Yeah, it was that. I was holding on to that mantra, boy, with white knuckled love. Just let me, that made such impact on me that I held on to that for literally my dear life.